This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
Well, what a game we have to talk about this week with that Dallas Cowboys game we just witnessed on Sunday. It is the Greg Bedard Podcast, Nick Cattles. Crazy game, Greg. Let's start with the three things that you feel better or good about coming out of Sunday.
Well, Nick, I don't know if this is any particular order, but I'll say this. I felt, despite some of the big plays that happened in the game, like Mac Jones almost getting decapitated a couple times, and the pick six, which I'm still not sure. It was a tough play. I still want to. I basically split the responsibility on the interception to Jones and Kendrick Bourne. I thought
I
Bourne
agree.
left his feet a little early.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's a tough timing play, and they were under pressure, or Jones was under pressure, and had to get it over Randy Gregory, or at least it appeared that way on film. But I thought that the offense in general, it's getting there. I thought the execution was a lot better, especially in the first half. I thought Jones was outstanding in the first half. And yeah, you could probably put the line of demarcation in. And it's not like he played bad the rest of the game. Just not quite as good. I think the Cowboys upped the pressure. But I thought that I think that I thought he played fine. I thought that overall, I thought the offensive execution was a lot better. I think they're making progress. I even didn't think the line was all that bad. Certainly in places they had some fundamental breakdowns in tough plays. But overall, I thought the offense, I felt better about the offense coming out of this game for sure.
I felt better about Ramondre Stevenson. He had been pretty much invisible for the most part since game one. He's been active last couple of weeks, but finally they did some things with him. They actually had him run a route down the seam, which worked out for them. I think he runs with a powerful finish. I think he has good vision. I think he's got some movement there, right? He's got a little bit of jiggle in his run for a bigger guy. And I think you see that. And I'm pretty bullish on his ability to help this football team as this season progresses. I also think Mac Jones was good. And, I wanted to see them give Mac Jones a little bit more in the first half and trust him a little bit more later in this game, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I think Mac overall, we keep saying it week after week after week, he's one of the most consistent players on this team, which says a ton when he's at the most critical position, and he's a rookie. I think he has been unbelievably steady, Greg, and he has played better than I think a lot of people expected him to this early on in his career.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely put Mac Jones on my things I feel better about from this game, along with Stevenson. I think he was on my list of considerations. I thought that he looked explosive. He looked more sure of himself. The thing about Jones, Nick, that I think that stands out, I mean, the cojones to do what he did, to throw the pick six, and then to throw that ball, which, look, the safety didn't play great on some other teams. That pass might be intercepted, but just to have the guts to throw that pass was tremendous. And I think that, look, I don't want to continue on with this Mac Jones debate with some people and some of my friends in the media. And I'm not going to, but this is also aimed at some of the fans that I hear on Twitter about just like, they want to blame Mac Jones for this or that. I think that I just don't know what people expected. Like, what did you expect? Like, he is a rookie quarterback. Like, when did I black out? Did I ever miss when a rookie quarterback came in and blew away the league, especially a pocket quarterback? I mean, a 15th overall pick. I mean, one or two maybe is different. RG3, was rookie of the year. Dak was a unicorn that he came in and did what he did out of the fourth round. It was almost like Brady-esque. Like, no one expected Dak to be that good that soon, or else he would have been picked in the first round. And so he was just a unicorn, so somewhat like Brady. But like, we all knew, and this goes in general for the offense and where this team is, and some of my frustrations about where this team is. We knew, Nick, we talked about it all summer, ever since Mac Jones was drafted, ever since they did what they did in free agency. It was going to take this team some time, especially the offense, with 2 new receivers, 2 new tight ends, a rookie quarterback. We knew it was going to take time for this offense. We knew that Mac Jones was going to have growing pains. We knew that he wasn't going to be perfect. We knew that he wasn't going to be Tom Brady, who sat as a rookie and didn't play until his second year. And what the offense has done has been exactly what we thought they were going to do, Nick. It's been fits and starts about, how they've executed, how things gone. There've been some really good moments. There's been some shaky moments. That's what happens with a rookie quarterback and 4 new people, 4 new key pieces, none of these guys who know each other.
Yeah.
But the problem with this team, and this gets into 3 things we feel bad about.
Wait, before we get to that, I just want to touch on Matt quickly before we get to the 3 things that we feel worse about. I just want to highlight some things. So the throw that you mentioned to Kendrick Bourne, I would say first and foremost, we heard all this stuff about how Mac has swag. He's got swag. He's got swag. And people say, oh, what the hell does that mean? That's what that means, is the dude throws a pick 6 to Trayvon Diggs, and on the very next play he's out there, he throws a bomb for a touchdown to Kendrick Bourne. That's what the swag is about. He's got unbelievable confidence. He believes that he can beat you. Even if he just gave up a play, he's coming right back for your throat. That's what the swag's all about. As far as the rookie quarterbacks, look, compare him to other rookie quarterbacks this year. It's not even close. Now, yes,
not close.
He has a better situation, better circumstances, better coaching staff, better weapons around him, blah, 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 blah. But he is so significantly better than every other rookie quarterback. I don't know how you can't be happy with him. And finally,
and it's only 6 games.
And it's only 6 games. And then you look at the history. You mentioned this. And I remember saying this, a month or 2 ago. Look at the history of rookie quarterbacks. People, they see Justin Herbert last year, who was, as you would put it, a unicorn. His rookie season a year ago was unlike any other rookie quarterback season we have ever seen. That's not hyperbolic. That's fact. Look at statistically.
It was like Marino-esque.
Yeah. I mean, he had like the best rookie season that we've seen in like 20 years. I mean, it was unbelievably off the charts. When you look at the other guys, when you look at the Baker Mayfields of the world, the Kyler Murrays of the world, even the guys drafted in the top 5, I just mentioned 2 of them. You look at those guys in the last 10 to 15 years, they didn't light the world on fire. They were good at best. And then they developed in year 2, and year 2, they kind of took off. And then that led into year 3, and we see Kyler Murray doing what he's doing in year 3. So the history tells you that quarterbacks don't get off to an unbelievable start like people think. And it's because we always talk about the quarterbacks heading into the draft. They become the number 1 priority, when in reality, they're pretty average to begin their careers, no matter who you talk about, the majority of them.
And Nick, let me further tell you that, I think Mac Jones's game, and I think the whole game, in my opinion, I think the whole game changed on the James Ferentz callback of the touchdown to Jacoby Myers. First of all, that was an outstanding play by both players. Mac waited for Jacoby Myers to clear. He waited a beat. He did. He got him. Touchdown. Look, I'm not one to complain about refs. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about the hands to the face on the I don't want to hear it, because there are plenty of other plays that go both ways, including Kyle Duggar hitting Dak Prescott in the head, on one play that was not called. So most of them balance out. And I'm sure there are some instant replays that show James Ferentz maybe tugging Micah Parsons a little bit. But on the coach's film, that hold's just not there. Micah Parsons left his feet to try to and Ferentz just manhandled him from there. Like, once you leave your feet as a defender, I'm sorry, you don't get any calls. And so if that call does not happen, if they get that touchdown, then the blindside sack fumble doesn't happen. Mac Jones isn't knocked for a loop for a while, and the game looks even better, in my opinion.
All right, let's get to the things that you feel worse or the same about.
Well, to continue on with my rant from before, we all knew about where they would be with the offense, but we expected the defense. We said the defense is going to have to win them games early on in the season.
Yep.
Like, we knew it wasn't going to be perfect on offense. They're not going to score a bunch of points. Like, you just have to be ready for that. And if you're complaining about it, if you're complaining about Mac Jones, you're complaining about Josh McDaniels, like you're just way off. It's the defense. The defense is not. They've had chances to get you stop after stop. They didn't stop the Cowboys at all. The Cowboys stopped themselves on Sunday. And we know the Cowboys are high powered, blah, blah, blah. But there's too much money, too much experience on this defense to give up 600 yards and probably, if the Cowboys didn't kill themselves, 50 some odd points at home. Like, it's not good enough. And I don't know if it's going to be good enough. And quite frankly, Nick, and I'm sure we'll get into some of this because I know you're frustrated with, you're frustrated with some of the fourth down calls, but the big plays, the 3rd and 25, the CD Lamb touchdown. And I broke these down on Boston Sports Journal yesterday, where I looked at, I didn't agree with the coverages at all. I didn't agree with what the defense was doing. Devin McCourty had some pointed remarks basically about the coaches and also the coaching and the personnel after the game. I think they're being let down in that area. I don't think the players have played well enough. They're getting paid way too much money. So number one, no question that I don't feel good about is this defense. They haven't come close to winning you a game unless it's the Jets or the Texans. And even Davis Mills torched this defense. So not much to feel good about on that side of the ball, in my opinion.
Steve Belichick's been terrible. He's been terrible. Too many guys on the field, not enough guys on the field, wrong personnel packages, wrong coverages at wrong times, allowing the secondary to give up big plays. CD Lamb with a touchdown in overtime when you have no safety help over the top, which makes 0.0 sense. Just a complete disaster. When you give up 24 yards on a 3rd and 25, get the hell out of my face. The 4th and 4 play to Cedric Wilson. I'll tip my cap to Dak and Cedric. That's a fantastic throw by Dak Prescott. It's an incredible catch on the sidelines.
The catch was amazing.
Amazing. That play, again, it's 4th and 4. Yes, you want your guys to get off the field and win that game on that play. But sometimes players make plays, right? And Dak made that play. That was a terrific play and a terrific play on the other end from Wilson. But 3rd and 25, you give up 24. I mean, it is enough is enough now. I've given Steve Belichick enough leeway. He has stunk out loud, and it's driving me nuts. And I don't know if Bill is going to wake up one day and say, well, maybe my son's not doing a good enough job. Maybe he does think that, and he's just trying to get through. I don't know. But you've got Matt Patricia on this staff who has experience. It's one of those things we talked about. It's very difficult to axe your son. And we're in a situation right now where this defense has been pitiful compared to what we thought they were going to be. The only guy that's making plays consistently is Matthew Judon. I feel like it's 11-on-1 at times out there. And Jalen Mills thinks we talked about Mills as an outside corner. He's not good in that spot. He wasn't good in Philly. He gets, I mean, I'm a broken record, right, Greg? How many times have I said about going back to when Mills was signed? I saw him play. Not a lot of people watch the Philadelphia Eagles, and I understand that. My Monday through Friday job is to watch as much football as I can. I watched a lot of the Philadelphia Eagles compared to what people watch in New England because I've got to. And I saw that guy get torched over and over and over again. And they signed him for $20+ million, and he gives up 24 yards on 3rd and 25. He gives up the overtime touchdown. He's not good as an outside corner. And if they think they're going to be able to survive with that guy as their number 2 opposite of J.C. Jackson, they are stoned out of their minds. He's not good enough. You have to help him constantly, every snap. Driving me crazy.
By the way, let's further that discussion because I just wanted to. I'm just trying to look up the quotes from. Hang on, I have it right here. Okay, so yeah, so the quotes from McCourty after the game. We played our hearts out there. Guys fought. We played well enough. We just didn't make enough plays at the end to win it. That's just disappointing. Then he said, about some of the calls, we were in a tough call for the route they ran, which was the game-winning touchdown that he said, which was, he was exactly right. And I just didn't understand it. The 3rd and 25, I didn't understand because they called cover 1 robber and I know that's what they call, just to let you know. They call cover one robber, which they run all the time. And J.C. Jackson didn't execute it perfectly. He's supposed to, after Adrian Phillips takes his guy on the crosser, then he's supposed to float to the middle of the field. Basically, ideally he's there to undercut that route. Dak doesn't see him. He picks it off. But to call that coverage in 3rd and 25, like, what are you doing? It's 3rd and 25. Like, play the freaking sticks. Like, getting 3 deep, 4 under, quarters, I don't know, whatever you want. Put them on the line.
Yep.
Make them throw underneath, tackle them, make it 4th and 8, 9, 10. And now give me a good play call. Now give me some good dialed up, exotic pressure that you have dialed up for this game. Instead of, what cover one robber. That's like their default coverage. You got to come up with something better there. And then on the final play, they call cover 0. And I understand they're in field goal range. You got to force a play. I understand. But to call a cover 0, which is man across, everybody else is coming. You got the 4 down linemen. You have Judon free. You have Phillips free. To not tell Judon and Phillips, the other guys are in coverage, to not tell them as soon as the ball is snapped, go after the ball. Go get the ball. Instead, Judon's turning around, basically dropping into coverage. Adrian Phillips is playing like the boot. Like, what are we doing here? Like, go make a play. Instead, Dak has all day, rolls out, boom. Jalen Mills, again, off coverage, inside leverage, no safety help, almost like all the slants he's given up, and there's a touchdown. Like, it's just bad defense. And it starts with the play call, and it's got to be better. And Nick, in my opinion, look, I think the offensive line is getting settled. I think I would not be surprised if Owenu is not back at right tackle from now on. I think Karras has earned a spot at guard once people come back. Mason comes back. Isaiah Wynn, let's see, probably some sort of rotation because I don't know how much he's earned. But I think the offensive line has settled down. I think Josh McDaniels is starting to figure out what works with this offense. It's time, and Bill does this from time to time, it's time for him to take over the defense. Like, he has to take over the play calling because that is killing this team right now. And he needs to take it over because he's the only one that can take this jalopy and make it run on the highway that is the NFL. Nobody else can do it. He can't give, Steve paint by numbers. Bill's got to make the calls.
All right, so we got a shorter podcast today. I just want to get right to it. You looked at the offensive film. Mm-hmm. Here's my beef. And I want you to, I don't know, try to talk me off the ledge, or I want you to agree with me, however you feel, Greg.
Okay.
Way too conservative in critical spots. And it's the same situation that we saw against Tampa. 90 seconds to go, left in the first half. You have 2 timeouts. You wave the white flag. You just wave the white flag. You run the football on first down. You get a yard. You take a knee. I think that is ridiculous. Overtime, 4th and 3 from your own 46-yard line. Your defense has played like a puddle against this offense. Mm-hmm. Dallas only needs a field goal to win this game, and you punt the freaking ball. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many times Mac Jones was actually allowed to throw the football twice in a row in this game. I'd have to go back and watch the film like you did. It didn't feel like a lot, and I'm getting a little tired of it. I'm getting tired of the conservative approach from Belichick, especially when they play explosive offenses. With this defense playing the way they're playing, you have to put up points. You have to be aggressive. You have to try to score at the end of that first half. You have to go for that 4th down in overtime, just like you had to go for it against Tampa instead of kicking a 56-yard field goal in a monsoon. And it's time for Belichick. 2 things. You mentioned it. Bye-bye, Steve. You can go sit at the kids' table for the rest of the year like it's Thanksgiving because you've been awful. I'm taking over the defense. Change number 2, trust in your rookie quarterback a little bit more / be more aggressive. I think this conservative approach, and I get it. They want to handle the rookie with kid gloves. They don't want to put too much on his plate. But man, oh man, I mean, this young guy has shown you over and over and over again that he's got balls and that he can play the position. And 4th and 3, like 4th and 2s, 4th and 3s, at the end of the half, you're not going to let him go 2-minute drill like we saw in the Washington preseason game. I know it was preseason, but we've seen him run the 2-minute drill spread out of the shotgun. He does it unbelievably well. and you wave the white flag at the end of the first half. Am I wrong?
Okay, so I think no, but I think you're talking about two separate things. I think, or at least, especially some of the fans at home might be talking two different things. Like in terms of game plan and play calling, I know I get accused of being, pro Josh McDaniels. I mean, I did rip him for the 3 screens last week on that possession. But I thought this was a really good game plan, and I thought for the most part it was well called. Not look, they have to. There are some issues with the offensive line, which was clear. I think that the 2 sacks that they gave up that Mac Jones got killed on, just shows you how they're trying to thread the needle. But I thought the running game was really schemed well, took advantage of Dallas's over aggressiveness. I thought that the passing game was productive. It'd be nice if the defense got them some more possessions. But I thought a lot of things worked. Now I think you're seeing progression. You're seeing like they're opening things up, and I don't think they're being restricted of Mac. I think that just in terms of what kind of execution they're going to get, they're just not opening it up all the way yet, and I don't think that's the wrong way to go.
He had like 7 throws in the first half. I mean,
right. That's because they only had 17 plays in the first half. It's
ridiculous. Maybe if they let him throw a little bit more, they'd have more plays. I mean, chicken or the egg.
I mean, they were plenty productive. They were plenty productive on offense. I mean, like I said, they got, a touchdown called back and they were shooting themselves in the foot with, N'Keal Harry's doing things. But anyways, the other side of the coin, which I completely agree with you about, Nick, is the game management from Belichick's perspective. The thing before halftime, I don't care how many times he says like, well, we got the ball to start the second half. Like that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, what happened to the double score theory? We've been saying
exactly. I mean, that, like you said, this team is going to put up points. All right, every possession is important that you get something out of it, and even a field goal there, which they had no timeouts left. Why the hell did you take the timeout before the 2-minute warning if you're just going to take the ball and sit on it once you got it back? It was dumb. You can't make both of those decisions. It's got to be one way or the other. And they should have gone for it, even with a couple screens or something, Nick. Like, now you don't come out and double tight ends and a closed formation and run, a power run. No, that's not what you do. You go shotgun spread, see if you can hit on a draw or something like that. Then you run a screen, see what happens. Then you make a judgment. But I the 4th and 3 play call, Nick, to me in overtime, that was egregious. That decision. Yep. I mean, Belichick had to. We all watched the game. We all watched how his defense could not get off the field. They only had 1 3-and-out to start the third quarter. That was it. Other than that, the Cowboys were just going up and down, doing whatever they want. 1st and 20 didn't matter. They're picking it up. Like whatever happened, however they shot themselves in the foot, however Mike McCarthy bad decisions we got, the Cowboys overcame it and were going up and down the field. And Bill had to know. Once they won the toss and got the ball, Bill's mentality should have been, my defense, my old-ass expensive defense that can't stop anybody when it counts. How many times am I going to have to see this? It's been like 2 years running. They cannot stop anybody. They are gassed. They've been on the field for 75 plays, okay? Unless it's ridiculous, I am not giving the ball back. Like I'm going for every 4th down manageable. I'm kicking a field goal if I have to, but I'm trying not to. I am winning the game right now. That's the mentality. We can't go back on defense. It's not going to work. And what happened? It didn't work. That was an awful, awful call by Bill Belichick, and it goes right in line with the Tampa game.
Yep.
Like to kick that 56-yard field goal with a kicker who now every week seems like his knee injury is getting worse. They just signed a guy to the practice squad. And you knew Tom Brady was getting the ball back with timeouts. Like it's the same decision. Freaking go for it. What are you waiting for? You got 2 wins over the Jets and the Texans. You got to go for wins. The formula that Belichick used for years no longer works. He can't get it to one score in the fourth quarter and say, well, we're going to make timely plays. You ain't got those players anymore. It's over. You got to change the formula. You got to be aggressive. You got to win the game in the first 3 quarters and not wait until the end of the game.
Before we get to a lightning round of 3 up, 3 down from you, I'm just going to say I was on Twitter and, on Sunday I tweeted out when they won the toss. It feels like the Patriots have to go and win this game right now because their defense is not going to. And the fact that me and you and everybody else, Joey and Worcester's watching that game going, you got to go for it, Bill. The fact that all of us see that and he doesn't. And it's not, and people keep going into the whole, well, his record without Brady, but it doesn't matter. We've seen him make smart coaching decision after smart coaching decision throughout 15 to 20 years in New England. And it's like all of a sudden he's behind the curve. He doesn't understand what his team is. It's dumbfounding to me. I don't think he's all of a sudden become a bad coach. You go back, I think it was Warren Sharp who tweeted this out. He said, go back to 2009. Belichick stopped being aggressive in 2009. It wasn't because of 4th and 2. It wasn't because of, Brady being gone. This trend began years ago where he wasn't as aggressive as other coaches. And if you're watching the NFL, again, I watch a lot of it because I have to and because I love it. But if you're watching the NFL across the league, coaches are going for it on 4th down. Brandon Staley, it backfired this week, but he went for a 4th and 1 on his own 19 on Sunday.
Yep.
Coaches are being more aggressive 4th and short. That's where the game is trending. Belichick isn't trending with the game. He's way back. And it's and when you go against a team that's more aggressive and more explosive, you're going to give up points. And if you're not aggressive, you're going to lose games. This is not, 2001. It's not even 2014 with Revis and Browner in that defense. You're not going to hold really good teams to less than 21 points, 24 points, maybe even 27 points. You've got to change your approach. It's driving me nuts. And hopefully, we'll see a change moving forward. Because if not, I'm speechless. All right, 3 up. Who you got?
I didn't change much from the game. I thought Juwan Bentley before his injury, I thought it was one of his best games I've ever seen him play. He had, I think, 12 tackles and 11 were solo. The forced fumble, which, Dak's got to hang on to that ball. And I still don't know if that was a legit fumble. I said, yes, the ball was moving, but I still think he had possession, but whatever. I didn't have a big beef with the call either way. Justin Bethel getting in there. The pass breakup for the interception, forced a fumble on the punt. And Damian Harris, let's just put Harris and Stevenson together. I thought they both looked really good. They both looked really fast on the coach's film, explosive. I think that's an indication, the offense is starting to come together. Slow but surely, but it's coming together.
I just wish they attacked the linebackers more with the running backs. I thought,
I think they're getting there.
It was going to be a game, especially after that play to Stevenson down the seam and then the Henry touchdown. I said last week, I think tight ends and running backs could do some damage against these linebackers and safeties. And they went big a lot. They ran the football a lot. Again, they did move the football, but I would have liked to see a little bit more activity to the tight ends and to the running backs in the passing game. You're 3 down.
I'm going to go Bill Belichick for that 4th down call in overtime. I just think you simply can't make that call. You have to go and win the game, and he didn't do that. And my 2nd down would be Steve Belichick for those 2 calls that I said earlier. The 3rd and 25, which is just ridiculous, was a ridiculous call. And then the call on the game-winning touchdown. And my 3rd down would be let's see. I don't want to give it to James Ferentz, even though he belongs down there.
Jalen Mills.
No, you know what? I absolve him. I thought it was, largely on those, but I guess I'll go Ferentz. He's just not good enough up there. I did think Teddy Karras was again outstanding in this game, but besides the point. That's
All
besides
right,
the point.
Mills is on my list. BostonSportsJournal.com member question of the day, $39.99 for the annual plan. Top-notch analysis of all the Boston pro sports. Bruins win on Saturday night. If you haven't heard, if you're living under a rock, if you saw Jersey Street last night, FS1 postgame, that place was going bananas. The Red Sox are 2 wins away from getting to the World Series. That's a pretty big deal. And, of course, the Celtics start their season tomorrow night against the New York Knicks. Al Horford will be out of that game due to COVID, but it looks like Jaylen Brown will be back. And you get all the Patriot stuff from Greg, video analysis, coaches film, direct access to him in weekly chats. All right, Greg, I need a question from you. You got one?
Yeah, I do. Well, I did just want to point out somebody they were pointing out that they thought that the final play call, or no, 3rd and 25 was cover 3, and that it was more of a match coverage. And I just wanted to point out, and I wanted to be definitive about this, that like that's not what the call was. Trust me, I found out what the call was because I was confused as hell. And I sent out the video clip of 3rd and 25 to, I don't know, 5 different NFL people, execs, coaches, being like, what coverage are they in here? Because I can't figure it out, because it looks like cover 3. It looks like Jackson, McCourty, and Mills, I guess it would be, were in cover 3 and everybody else is playing man to man underneath, which makes no sense. But it was cover 1 robber. Adrian Phillips is the robber. He is supposed to take on the weak side of the formation. He's supposed to take the crosser, and then J.C. Jackson is basically supposed to switch positions with Adrian Phillips, and that's why you see Devin McCourty at the end on the coach's film motioning to J.C. Jackson like you're supposed to come into the middle of the field. He was just standing off doing nothing, not helping anybody, and so I just wanted to be definitive about the coverage on that and what broke down on that play.
All right. Well, it was a tough one on Sunday. Another tough one. Decisions that maybe the coaching staff regrets. Hopefully they do, and they go back and they change some of their approach, because this is now just, Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray. We're waking up watching the same film with, this team and some of the defensive decisions that were made, some of the decisions made by Belichick. It's backfired, and it's one of those seasons so far that's very frustrating. You and I had them, I think, with 11 wins. If you look at literally a handful of plays, 5 to 7 plays, if you look at those 5 to 7 plays / decisions, this team could be, 5-1. They could be 0-6. That's the kind of season it's been. And we always would watch this team and say, Belichick would make the right decisions. Brady would make the right play at the right time. The defense would come up with something timely. And none of that is happening right now. It's all swinging the other way. And I think Belichick's going to step up and change some of it, or we're going to have this happen over and over and over again, Greg. And we're going to say, wow, this team had a chance to win 10 or 11 games. They won 6 or 7 because some of the boneheaded things that happened that could have been, stripped away early on, but they weren't for some reason. So this is not Belichick now.
Yeah, I wanted to further jump on with you and to sort of close this out. Look, you look at teams that are they good or bad in 1-score games? That's sort of an indication on whether you have a good team. And this team, going back to the end of 2019, they're now 11-17, and I went back and looked at it. I think 11 of those 17 losses are by 1 score. That's just where they've been. And until that changes, they can't be considered a good team. I still think this team is going to be a good team. But man, that defense has to change, Nick. And I think you're right. I think we're both in lockstep on this. The offense is getting there. It's going to get there. But the defense, and Belichick has to take it over. He's got to get the defense better. They have to start closing out games and making winning plays, or else this season is quickly going to be lost.